And the name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Wham! Kazap! First try. Why so serious?
He's a fast killer.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
I'm freaking pumped. I've been drinking green tea all goddamn day.
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to the Good Day for a Movie podcast, and we are brought to you by GD4GD. So head on over to GD4GD.com and buy some dope gear, because $10 of every sale gets donated to their nonprofit partner, which is currently the Matthews House. They're a nonprofit that empowers youth and families by building trusting relationships. Their Strengthening Families program takes a holistic approach in helping at-risk families achieve stability. This helps disrupt the cycles of poverty and abuse. So, like I said, head on over to GD4GD.com and buy some awesome gear. I'm Jacob, and alongside me, as always, Tate,
your favorite,
and our anonymous third co-host. How we doing, boys?
Doing good. I'm a little tired tonight, so I hope that just pick. I hope that he doesn't pick a slow movie, because it might put me to sleep. But you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to watch a movie.
It's a short movie.
Okay, that's
I
a
like
good
that.
sign.
Hour and a half.
Go to bed earlier.
Is good.
Should I just go into it?
Yeah,
might as well.
Okie dokie. We're gonna watch a movie that I had seen a while ago that I really wanted to rewatch.
You've seen this?
I have seen this, and I love it.
Okay.
And it's called Chronicle.
Chronicle
of Narnia.
Just Chronicle.
Bionicle
of Riddick.
Just Chronicle.
Bionicles.
Chronicle.
We're watching the Bionicles movie?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
All right, let me look. What? Okay, tell us about it.
It came out in 2012, early 2012, like February. I looked up. I'm guessing I don't know what the budget actually is.
Wait. What? Chronic or Chronicle?
Chronicle.
Oh, damn. 2012, you said?
Yep. Its budget was $12 million, which seems.
You're sure it's not Bionicle Mask of Light from 2003?
You sure it's not Chronic?
You want to watch those movies?
Oh, funny stuff.
So you have seen this movie?
I have seen this movie.
3 high school students make an incredible discovery, leading to their developing uncanny powers beyond their understanding.
Interesting.
Ooh, a little bit of a sci-fi.
Josh Trank.
It's a sci-fi kind of superpower movie.
Okay, so do you know much about Josh Trank, the director?
Nope.
So he was supposed to do a Star Wars movie. He was supposed to do a Boba Fett movie, but he did the newest Fantastic Four movie, and that was such a bad movie. Between that and him just kind of being an overall douchebag, allegedly, he got canned from Star Wars. And he got canned like the night before he was supposed to have a big panel at Star Wars Celebration.
Oofta.
Yeah. Big time oofta. He hasn't really worked since that Fantastic Four movie a whole lot. But Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
That's the only person I know in this film.
See, what's funny is, like, thinking back, I don't know if Michael B. Jordan was really on the scene.
No. Michael B. Jordan was absolutely on the scene. 2009, he was in Friday Night Lights. As
Really?
Vince Howard, yes.
Well, I just watched Friday Night Lights.
I've never seen Friday Night Lights.
2016.
Okay, yeah. He was he was the quarterback of
I remember
the
him
East
from
Dillon. What the hell was their mascot? East Dillon Lions. Yeah, he was the East Dillon Lions quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think even
Shout
before
out to Matt
that, he was in The Wire for 13 episodes too, but that was early in his career. That was in like 2002. Okay. So, but yes, this is before Michael B. Jordan became what Michael B. Jordan is today.
Yep. I had, just looking back at cast, I had no idea it was Michael B. Jordan.
People who liked this film also liked Predestination and Source Code, 2 movies that I've seen kind of recently.
Yep.
Pretty crazy films. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. Let's just hop into this thing.
Let's just do it.
Oh, do you want to? It is available on Hulu with a subscription to. So I think Cinemax. What's it called?
Oh, Cinemax.
But we're gonna rent on Amazon Prime.
All right,
because that's probably cheaper. So
let's do it.
All right,
Julio.
we'll see you guys on the other side.
You're probably gonna want to get this on camera.
I don't want to do it. Dude, I don't want to do it. Okay, are you ready? Okay, come on, do it. Give me a countdown. I will, I promise. Ah!
Are we rolling? I'm gonna get the gum. Pull it right out of his mouth.
Wait, why are we running?
I got this one. Sweet.
She's just looking at it.
This is my theory, though, is that it's like a muscle.
Watch this. Dude, holy crap!
That's why I think we're getting stronger, you know?
She thinks it's stolen. No idea.
Yes, it was the black guy this time.
Because we're working it out.
There's nothing stopping us.
Where are you going?
I'm sorry.
That's just some redneck.
What the hell is this guy's problem?
Stop! Are you crazy? Why did you do that? What the hell is wrong with?
Was it an accident, Andrew? Andrew? I'm worried about Andrew.
Listen to me. We can't screw around with this. It's too dangerous. Andrew, it's not a game. Andrew! Stop this right now!
Who's making that sound? What is that?
All right, dude, we're going inside.
Steve, wait up.
Matt, look at this!
Holy.
All right, not a bad first film by Josh Trank. It's unfortunate that he couldn't follow it up with anything else, but I certainly enjoyed this movie. It was definitely a fun twist to the superhero genre. It was a dark twist, especially near the end. I think once you see a kid torturing an animal or an insect, you know things are going to turn south.
It was pretty dark.
And nobody's going to have a good time after that.
No way, Jose.
Yeah, that was, I don't know. You got some thoughts?
The main reason I liked it so much is because a lot of superhero movies you run into are Marvel-esque, where it's, I mean, obviously nowhere nearly as dark, but it's the whole acquisition of a power and then using the power is like that. And then it's just using the power and they kind of learn as they use against like villains. The part that I loved about it the first time and still love is that it is a totally different twist on the acquisition of an ability.
I'm trying to hold back a little bit because I thought this was one of the worst movies I've seen in so long. I'm going to come at you like a goddamn spider monkey.
Chip, I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey.
Like a spider monkey! Go on!
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
I have just, this entire movie, I was just loading the bullets, getting the ammo ready for just everything that I was going to tear down about this movie.
Bring it.
Oh my gosh. I thought that this was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Shut up, Chip, or I'll go ape shit on your ass.
Damn.
I don't even know where to start.
Okay. Go for it.
I think the first place I have to start is just the main character. He was just the most
The first thing I wrote down in my
irritating
notes,
guy.
Andrew is a nerd. He's a fucking nerd.
He was
that guy
so
sucks.
bad.
I'm going to scissor kick you in the back of the head.
He was so bad on so many levels, so many reasons. I mean, yeah, I guess like you can argue for his character and like why he's all messed up in the head and stuff like that, but his character was just so annoying. Oh my gosh, I could not get over it. Michael B. Jordan was dope.
Yeah.
The other guy, Matt, was
the
dope.
The third thing I have is Michael B. Jordan, Steve, his swag.
Yeah, they were dope. Andrew, not.
Casey Megababe is the second note I put down.
Yeah. But all right, where else can I think about it? All their little jokes, all their like little like I thought that it was so frustrating. And I mentioned it at one point in the movie where they would just be like, oh, and they'd be like just be typical high school kids like sitting in the parking lot or like just doing all these things and being reckless and having fun and being rebels, and then they'd be like, dude, your dad, that's tough, man. And it was just like cut so quickly, and I just felt like there wasn't really a good plot and like storyline for any of these guys, and so they flip flop so quickly between like just being typical high schoolers and then like flipping over to being like, oh man, we got like serious problems and all this. And so I was like, all right, either stick to one or the other. Like stick to a really dark movie plot where everyone just has a really hard life and all these things, or just stick to this is a light and fun movie about experimenting with superpowers and stuff like that. I didn't enjoy that they tried to attack both of these like avenues of a film.
Yeah, turn up the heat.
Go on and get some, boys.
Come on.
I'm 10 years old, but I'll beat your ass.
So that was another thing. Also, another thing, the whatever the style of filming you call that with like Project
like
X,
found footage. Yeah, found footage.
What? It's so bad.
I love that.
Yeah,
like I mean, it kind of worked for Project X. It was good for Blair Witch, but I think in general, those kind of movies just I just dislike.
Yeah, it's interesting. What I did like, I'm not the hugest found footage fan, but I did enjoy how they got around when there may not be a camera around. I really did enjoy that. What do you mean? Elaborate on that. So like using the hospital camera.
Oh,
the
yeah,
police
yeah.
have to
Those
film this whole thing.
All of the other camera shots that they kind of used, where it would be like the security camera in a building, like when they flew through the wall, and like getting that footage and throwing it in, chopping it in every once in a while, that was awesome. Well, partly because I was getting really tired of the
kid just filming,
recording, but all of those, like adding those in, awesome.
Yeah, the whole thing with the camera, and you being like an indie movie guy, like in general, I was very curious to see how you would react to the mockumentary like style for a superhero movie or like a superpower movie, I guess.
Yeah, which I think they like. I think I don't know if I had a problem. Like if someone would have told me about what this movie was and how it was filmed and all these things, I would have been like, that's very interesting.
I was hesitant too.
I would have been like, that sounds really cool, because I think it's a good way to approach it, is to talk about it, because there's a lot of things that they can work around when they film a movie like this. And so I think that it was a really interesting idea, but I just don't think it just didn't do it for me at all. Like
it feels like
just
a
almost
cheat
frustrated me.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Where I think a lot of these new filmmakers are like Josh Trank's first film. It feels like using a found footage movie seems like maybe the easier way to do it, just because you can get around a lot of plot points and kind of cheat around it. Whereas like if you're to do like a normal movie, you have to think about every single shot that you have lined up, and you have to make it not feel like a movie.
Yeah, like there's like all those scenes where the camera could just kind of start to like buffer, or like it was in their jacket and you could kind of hear it, but they didn't have to show anything. That's a lot of like those little cheats that I think you're talking about. So, and I mean, when you do look at like it from a financial standpoint, this movie killed it. Like he probably his budget was like what you said at the beginning, 12 million, and the box office was 126 million. That's like when you look at that, you're like, all right, I don't care if I made a bad movie or not. This made bank. But to me, I didn't like the first person.
Yeah, the whole, because they kind of said it in a conversation in the movie about being careful about using that camera because it becomes like a part of him. Mm-hmm. I think that was the whole movie's about Andrew, and the whole tension is he a protagonist or an antagonist? And you find out by the end that he's an antagonist, but he could not have been. Like it was his circumstances that pushed him that way.
Yeah, and that was one of those things. Like I like to in movies see when like if a character goes from A to B, I like to be like, okay, what pushed them or what forced them to make that decision or change in their character or their life or whatever makes sense. And to me, it just didn't. Like when literally the only thing that made him turn on his friends was his dad just said, "They're not your friends." And then he fought his dad. And then from that point on, he was just like, "You're not my," and like he just got so angry. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous."
But I mean, that's like almost the the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there was like the whole tension was the protagonist side of him was outside the home with his friends, and the antagonist side of him was inside the home with his dad.
And the antagonist side of him just kind of won the internal battle.
It was like 18 years brewing.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a protagonist side until the powers came. So it really he became a pivotal piece. Yeah. But I'm not surprised. This movie is a very easy movie to dislike. So I'm not upset or
I'm glad it was only an hour and 24 minutes because
yeah,
I couldn't take any more.
Yeah. It's just a good, for me, alternative or different perspective of the superhero and superpower genre. Because that is way, like, especially in 2020 after the last decade of Marvel movies and then DC movies coming out, man, it's nice to have like a dark twist.
I do like seeing the learning curve with getting a new superpower, because like all of the other Marvel movies and any other superhero movie, they never, or very, very briefly or quickly show the kind of like,
it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And they like Spider-Man is the only one that comes to mind of him like kind of figuring out what he can do. But once he kind of figures out what he can do, he's just off and running about all of his powers. So I did like that throughout the movie. They were like slowly picking up on certain things, and they were failing along the way and doing other things and testing out new things that they could do. But so that was fun. I think that was a cool. Like, you're right.
I will press the brakes. This is a good change of pace. I think this is a change of pace. I wouldn't call it good by any means, because you're kind of bringing me my score down, which I think is a good thing, because this movie wasn't good by any means. I don't think it was horrible like you're saying. Give me any MCU movie over this movie any day of the week.
Yeah. I think I
even
can see
Incredible Hulk.
I can see point on keep that in the tally. I can see his point on it being a refreshing take on a superhero movie, because it is unlike, it's not like any other superhero movie. But I do think that I just, there's other reasons I think I disliked it.
Well, I don't disagree. Iron Man, far better movie than this. But when you watch Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Iron Man 2, Captain Marvel 2, Thor 2, it's like
you're talking to the man that could
Captain
watch
Marvel 2 yet.
You're talking to the man that could watch those all day.
I know, but for me, it's like, fuck, get me out. I need to just give me something different.
Sure, but my argument to that would be each and every single one of those movies and every single aspect is it's written better, it's produced better, there's a better score, better acting,
bigger budget.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
which that is what it is, which makes it, in my opinion, not because it's a bigger budget, but it is better.
Yeah, well, there's one thing to consider about this movie too, and that is the mental aspect. For a lot of the heroes, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm a superhero now. And then there's a villain, and it's like, oh my gosh, I need to defeat the villain. And then they defeat the villain, they say, I am Iron Man. But for this one, it's like, am I good? Am I bad? What am I using my powers for?
Yeah,
we
there's
need to
not
set
really
rules.
a
We're getting stronger.
villain.
This is different.
I think this is more one kid's struggle who has a rough life that is introduced into, this is one of the notes that I have down, is kind of these rudimentary philosophies. Like when young impressionable kids get into philosophy, they can take it at its very base level, and that can be very in this movie. And we see it from a couple of characters. We see it from both Andrew and Matt.
Yeah.
Where Matt has taken these philosophies, and he seems to have read a lot more about it than Andrew has. And Matt he definitely changes throughout the movie, but like in the beginning of it, he's all, like nothing really matters and like that type of thing. And then he's kind of like, okay, well, things do matter. Like, let's do some good in the world. When he's talking to Casey. And then when you see Andrew kind of getting into these philosophies and he only takes it at base level. He's the type of guy that reads the first like section of Wikipedia and is like, okay, there we go. I know everything there is to know about apex predators, and I am that, and it doesn't matter if I squash this fly or squash this human being. And so I think that was the strongest point of the movie, of pointing out how some of these philosophies can be dangerous when it comes to these young impressionable minds
with superpowers.
Yeah. If people do get superpowers at some point, please do not be anything like Andrew.
Being for
Matt,
sure, but
be
like
a Steve.
I think
Andrew.
I think the superpowers are obviously just the way to show, like, it's a mirror to look through the most extreme version of how these philosophies can be taken at, like I've said, the rudimentary, the base level, and can go completely awry.
All right. So, on another note, why did everybody love filming in this movie?
Because it was a found footage film and they needed some way to get around it.
Yeah. Like, just all the characters that, like, they were all always filming, and then, like, the girl was like, her whole thing was, oh, I love to film too. What are you? And, like, she always asked, she's like, what are you filming? And it's like, I'm just filming, man. I don't know. I just thought it was weird that everybody, for some reason, was like a huge fetish with filming.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird.
No, I totally, like, again, after watching this movie, I just liked having a different kind of superpower movie, but I do understand how people can not like and even hate this movie.
Yeah.
Very crazy to film yourself committing crimes. Not a good idea. Like when he
Not
first like turns bad and like is in like the hazmat suit and the oxygen mask, and he's just filming himself beat up all these guys.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and rob the store and like,
yeah,
it's like little things like that, which I know that's like the director doesn't even care about, like, people who comment on that, because he's like, I'm just making a film. But when it is hard to look past it when you are the viewer.
And I think in the defense for it, the quick quip on it is Matt talked about hubris like 30 minutes before that. And so any like philosophical quip that Matt threw in there at some point led to Andrew's story. And that was his story, and that part, like how hubris was pretty much his downfall, like the apex predator like mindset, like I'm so powerful. That's what I mean. That and his abusive drunk dad.
What is the definition of hubris? He never said.
It's similar to like an overwhelming sense of pride.
Yeah, an overwhelming, like excessive pride or self-confidence.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
we had it.
So the opposite of humble.
Yeah, but
even though they start with the same two letters.
Yeah, it's more of, and it's not prideful, because of, like, being prideful is a good thing.
Yeah,
it's more
when you get into hubris. Yeah, it gets into arrogance, and it's more of,
I can do whatever I want. Like I'm untouchable.
Yes,
I'm unbeatable.
He's an apex predator.
He's an apex predator. It is like hubris is to the point where, like, you step on a basketball court and you say, I'm the best ever. And they score a basket on you, and like you still have this mindset like, I'm the best ever. Like, but in his case, it was.
Speaking of the apex predator, I don't know why this popped into my head, but I'm pretty sure like when I learned about the word hubris was probably like in like 5th grade or something. And I remember distinctly that the example they gave was the lion.
So that's funny because that's exactly what he talked about.
That was the analogy he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lion isn't guilty.
On a funny note, I thought it was incredibly hilarious when the only thing that took down the apex predator was the
street lamp.
Street lamp.
Yes.
Like they were just flying around fighting in the street, and he just basically backs into it. Not even aggressively, but he just backs into it, gets zapped, looked like a bug, and just dropped to the ground.
And where I thought
was
you
like,
were at,
what?
So this is probably reading way too much into it, but it might not be. Is I thought you were going to go there with the way he actually dies is by the spear thrown from the human statue. And
that was the best part of the movie by far.
Yeah. And like, I think I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but to me that could mean,
I didn't even think about it being from a human, like
so
a human hand.
Like the human hand killed him. And because humans, we are the apex predator because we do have these things in between our ears.
But yeah, I did think that ending of him, because I wasn't sure how they're going to end it, and it did also, like, I mean, the entire time I disliked it, wasn't getting better. And I was curious about how they were going to end it, because that was going to like make or break whether this was the worst film of all time or just an okay film. And it ended well. I think the ending was more than appropriate.
We're not going to go into scores yet, but going into this movie, I had a higher score than I do now. And it was because it was a lot slower than I remembered it.
And my one question before we do get into scores here quickly, if there was a superpower that you guys could have, what would it be?
Telekinesis.
Would it be telekinesis?
Yeah, duh.
I mean, yeah, they could pretty much do everything.
Aside from telekinesis then, because it clearly is like incredibly powerful.
Well, you can fly, you're invincible.
If you choose another superpower other than telekinesis, one of three things. You know something I don't. You're stubborn, or you don't know what telekinesis is. It's the ultimate superpower.
No, I'm saying if you can't choose telekinesis.
Now we're going on.
I mean, I would go with speed, super speed. Huh. Never be late again. Get up at the very last second, like literally last second. How handy would that be?
What other pros are there for not being late to anything?
Well, I mean, look at the Flash. He's a superhero and he saves the world.
Do you know
there's
the
a
cool
whole
part
bunch
about
of stuff
Flash?
that goes into super speed besides just everyday uses.
You know, it's not what I considered.
Super punch, and you can throw lightning if you're the Flash.
You could throw a big haymaker.
Yeah, I mean...
All right, what would yours be if it wasn't telekinesis? Mine's just going to be flying. I think watching those scenes of them up in the sky, I was like, yeah, that would be incredible.
Mind reading's pretty dope.
And see, if you have super speed, sure, you couldn't be in the air, but you can still run over water and stuff, and you can get anywhere just as fast as somebody flying could.
We could have a race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some of the best moments in comics are when Superman and Flash race.
There we go.
Does manipulating time count?
Yeah.
Sure.
Then I'd do that. Because that's pretty dope.
Okay. Right. You are pretty strange, Doctor.
Nice.
Well, that's for my boy Hero from Heroes.
All right, what do you think? Should we get into some scores after we've kind of decided what our superhero
Let's
powers
do it.
are now?
I'm ready to roast him.
All right, so here's some pretty surprising scores from the aggregators. Rotten Tomatoes, 85%. Shocking.
Very.
These next two come back down to earth. IMDb, 7.0 out of 10.
Oh, it's still got a ways to go.
Metacritic, super nice, 69 out of 100.
Jeez. What? Who are these people?
I don't know, but that'll lead me into my score.
Being the indie man, I'm impressed that you're going lower than like super low.
I hated this movie.
Now you know how I feel.
Oh my gosh,
whenever
this
you
is
make
so
movie
bad.
recommendations.
I am going to go with a 61 out of 100. There were aspects that I certainly enjoyed, but by no means was this a good movie. This is a movie that was better than it was, if that makes any sense. They're giving me looks like it makes no sense, but I'm going to say that you listeners are smarter than these two and think it actually makes sense. Tate, score.
All right, I'm going to play a quick game of higher or lower. I want you guys to throw out a name, and I'm going to say higher or lower. Or
Name?
Shit.
Okay, I'm going to put the line at 55.
Lower.
Really? 4.
Oh my gosh, he confuses me with that one. So 40?
Yeah, 40.
Oh, I thought he was actually meant 4.
Lower than 40.
You're going to give it a 33.
Your boy sticks with the round of
that's right, 35.
fives. So I'm going to go with a 30.
Holy shit.
You know, at a certain point, I didn't know where to stop when I was going, like, my score. I was like, it just kept going down. I was like, at what point do I just stop and just say, this is where it should live? I almost just let it keep going. But I know that the ending is what brought it up.
Well,
just
not the ending. The ending was bad. The flying to the Himalayas was dumb.
That was so bad.
You made it.
I am almost trying to forget
made it.
about that part. And just think
Come on, that
the
dropped your
ending-
score a little bit, didn't it?
You're right. It's down to 25. No, I'll stick with the 30.
Okay.
Man. That, oof. I did, yeah. He torched me. I feel like a good old creme brulee right now.
That might have just brought the score out.
88.
When I first watched this movie, I gave it around probably in between an 8 and an 8.5. If I think back on how much I liked it, is worse. Second time seeing it, which is a bummer. I give it a 7.5, like 75.
I can't imagine seeing it 2 times.
No, I mean,
yeah,
one time was.
I don't
plenty.
need to see it again.
1 time was more than enough.
I wish I didn't pick this movie and had a way, just held my beautiful little in the shelf memory of it. But I mean,
hey,
I still,
you went for a gamble. You gotta appreciate that. But
and don't worry,
you lost
it's your turn in
shorts.
3 turns. So I am so excited for you guys to see my movie.
Yeah, it's my pick next, and then.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah,
your pick next. Sorry.
Watch yourself.
Sorry.
yeah, he's trying to crimp on some
sneak his
picks.
way in.
Yeah,
Sneaky snake.
yeah, bummer, but
All right, that's an average score of 55.3.
Oostika.
I had to do it.
You had to do it to him.
Man, I
tell it
actually
like it
thought it
is.
was going to be the other way around because, like, Jacob being an MCU guy and you being an indie guy, I thought Tate was going to give it a higher score and Jacob was going to burn it to the ground.
All right, I am not getting enough credit for also being an indie guy. I'm an every movie guy. If you make a good movie, I'm going to like it. If you make a shit movie, I'm going to call it a shit movie.
We'll take all this shit movie and you didn't.
I know, but that's because it wasn't a shit movie. This was a...
Thank you. Get him out of here.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for today. If you have thoughts or questions, you can shoot us an email at gd4ampodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at gd4. That's the number 4, gd.movies. Again, gd4gd.movies on Instagram. And we're also on Twitter at gd4gd_movies. Twitter, gd4gd_movies. Also, we would love for you to leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you listen on, especially Apple Podcasts. That's the one that's going to help us out the most. It's going to shoot us up the charts. We're probably already number 1. Just make sure they're all 5-star reviews. If you have something negative to shoot us, just shoot us an email. You can leave negative stuff in the review, but make sure it's 5 stars.
Or you can come knock on my door.
Yeah. Come catch it. Come catch these hands. Come catch these hands. All right, folks, we will catch you next week at the movies.
When you come to the end of the line with a buddy who is more than a brother and a little less than a wife, getting blind drunk together is really the only way to say farewell.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.